Cedar side up. Shifty work into the box. And across. It's in. Oh, it's Loho. It's a dream return.
Hi everyone, welcome to Casual FC, an Angel City preview pod. I'm your host, Angela Morales, with Dad of the Year, Mario Salazar, and a very special host who we've been hyping up because I'm so freaking excited. We've got Lesley from Gal Pal Sports because Emily is being Dog Mom of the Year and providing much needed just attention battery refills to both of their dogs and taking a break, which is good because the Euros ended today and that was quite a game from everything I saw. God forbid you leave your house and leave your dogs. Just
how dare we, honestly.
Yeah.
And then Copa America is coming up like in an hour, and so much.
It's already bonkers.
Much
apparently.
soccer to be around. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So today we're going to be previewing the amazing Group B. So USA, Zambia, Germany, and Australia. I don't know who's going to make it out of this group. I don't know what the heck's going to happen. There's so much to talk about on many different levels. And I'm excited to get into the soccer of it, but I'm also just excited to talk Gal Pal with you because the two of you have done so much cool stuff for women's sports in the last couple of years. I mean, you were at the World Cup. You got to travel. The two of you have been taking pictures and videos, and you've become this mainstay, at least for me, on Twitter. I joke that's the only thing I dead name is Twitter because I refuse to call it anything. I've been there for 15 years. It's Twitter. Elon be damned. But the two of you, Gal Pal Sports, your respective personal accounts, I've been following you forever. So it's just, I'm so excited to see the two of you grow Gal Pal, grow your following, and just see what's coming next. But for those who don't know, can you give us a little history? Yeah, Mario is those who don't know.
Yeah, I'm new to a lot. So when it comes to it, you're talking to me as proxy for a lot of
definitely. But how Gal Pal happened and how you two happened, and give us the fun stuff.
The two of us happened through the magic of a little application on an iPhone called Tinder that managed to match us up together in the vast and glorious city of Los Angeles. We managed to match with each other and did not swipe left, even though we were at least 10 miles apart.
I know. We were talking before we started recording about distance, and everybody knows, Eva and I joke that we're in a long distance LA relationship because we might as well be. Yeah. And you two basically were as well.
Dating in LA, it's they she wasn't west of the 405, but her workplace was. So when we initially matched, it was just oh God, she's really cute, she's really nice, but I live in Hollywood and she works in it.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a trek.
Yeah, that is a trek.
But we met. We started with just the date, and decided we would see where that would go. And honestly, it was just you're really cool, you're really funny, and maybe I'll just get a friend out of this. And what you know, what I got a wife instead.
I think you got the bonus end of the deal, both of you.
Yeah, we did okay.
Came out all right.
But yeah, as far as Gal Pal Sport goes, we dated, we met each other, we finally moved in together. We did long distance for a minute. We checked all the boxes, all of the gay boxes in LA. And by the time we moved in together, we ended up watching a lot of soccer together. She got me to Arsenal, of all things, as I am wearing a jersey today. And we ended up going to the 2019 World Cup in France, and we went to Nice, actually, where the group games will be for the U.S. And we had a lovely time, and as we went on this journey to the World Cup, we noticed that there wasn't really much going on as far as the conversation goes.
Yeah.
I think the motto or branding of the World Cup was it had something to do with dreams. It was get or be the dream.
It was really basic.
Listen, I am an adult. I want to have fun with it. And that's where we started with Gal Pal Sports, of just like making silly videos at Fran. And once we came home. And we were having fun with it. We still are, even though sometimes, as I learned, the news around the soccer, sometimes is not fun. Especially as we're seeing now with the San Diego stuff and.
Yeah.
And
I'm assuming soon to be Angel City stuff at this point.
I guess.
Yeah.
That Wall Street Journal article was something. I didn't mind to unpack it, but it is interesting to see women's soccer go from this one thing of it's great and it's fun and it makes lots of money to now we have power struggles, just like men's sports.
Yeah.
Oh, some problems are universal.
Exactly.
I will say that there's a bit of it feels like there's a bit of, and this is me coming from like being newer to women's sports and the NWSL, but there's like the honeymoon period of seemed fun, and then we get to the Yates report and shit's real. It's not all rosy and gumdrops because it's women. It's there's some BS things that are going on. There are some just normal business things that need to get figured out. It's not just a women's sports issue. It's an issue that every team out there, any type of organized sport or any type of business in general, has to go through with personnel, salaries, who's in charge.
Yeah, there's
a board.
Some stuff that's across the board, normal growing pains and weird and just business related things. And then there's, how do I say this nicely? There's things specific to women's sports on the abusive side that are across the board in women's sports, and it's just a matter of when and how they come out.
Yeah.
At this point, it's not even if it's happening, it's just when are we going to find out?
The double-edged sword of it being now successful to the point where everybody gets to put that microscope, like all of women's sports under a microscope, but it's not, and everybody else is screaming, we've been here, what are you talking about? But I think it's a matter where it's hit that point for like mainstream, quote unquote mainstream. I'm doing it while we are an audio only podcast. But there's this kind of point where it's now become so ubiquitous that annoyingly the talking heads on like ESPN and whatnot have to fill the 24-hour media. And so it's okay, like now we're going to put them under a microscope. And then when you look deep enough or hard enough, you'll find the same stuff on. Unfortunately, it's just the new topic for right now because it's fresh, but it's not old. It's not new. So,
right.
But there are really good things that are coming out of all of this too. The kind of amazing power badassness that is Michelle Kang. I remember you telling me at the draft, just her walking effortlessly in a
she
cape.
looked like she floated across the room.
She definitely has a presence when she's in a room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really interesting seeing, because they had all these tables with the different ownership. It was like owners, coaches, and like team ops people, like the folks who were picking the next player. And she would walk by and it would just get quiet. Like, she's got more money than all of us in this room combined. It was that feeling of, oh my God, her shoes cost more. Like, her shoes are my whole salary. But yeah, Michelle Kang's different. And her mindset around team ownership is also really interesting. So I'm curious to see how that pans out, of like multi-team ownership to really uplift women's soccer.
Yeah, I think that will be interesting to see. I don't know that we've necessarily seen it on the women's side before. Like there are definitely ownership groups on the men's side that have transcend leagues and countries and time and space.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious to see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
All right,
so Mario, where can we watch all the Group B things?
Are we done with Gal Pal? Because I feel like I just got the very top snippet of what Gal Pal is.
Oh,
God, you're going to make me talk more about myself and what I do.
Oh, no.
That's fair. Let's see. Where were we? Lack of things happening.
Lack of things after World
Lack of coverage.
Cup, yeah.
Yeah. We just ended in a space where we were like, where What if there was a place for grown-ups who like sports to just talk about how great that is and have fun with it? And I think what we try to do is make that space, whether it's on Twitter, on Instagram, what have you, to just have that conversation of how is the U.S. women's national team right now, and just go through that. Because
Yeah.
I feel like the
Right.
last World Cup, it's not necessarily a conversation that has broken through the wider conversation, and I think that is something that we're working towards in more people who watch women's sports and talk about it regularly, and have that exposure to be able to just keep calling attention to it. I think the dream of it for me is like what Sam Ewis is doing right now. That's
Yes, same. It's one of those things where I look for the places. I listen to the people who you can tell have been part of for me, it's like the soccer and basketball communities. I follow so many people who have been within the women's soccer community, the women's basketball community, like W Twitter, like college basketball Twitter for ages. So when new voices come in, I'm just like, oh, you don't know the lore. Like oh, okay. I feel sad for you. And that's where I'm like, do I do this? Do I venture in? Yeah. Do I venture into women's basketball land? But it's dicey right now.
Look, when we said at the beginning before we recorded that one of the only ways to like move things forward is create the empire. That's part of it. I'm putting it
that's
on,
part of the empire.
I'm putting it on the recording right now. There are breadcrumbs in the path to the empire, and I'm like pushing Angela to be like,
he's the one
yes.
that's dropping them. You have to pick these up, and I'm like, I'm not hungry yet. Like, I'm okay. I'm nervous.
I think I'm full.
Yeah.
Like I'm
It's
trying
just
to
a little.
I'm trying to walk the line between like helpful and pushy.
As any good friend would. Like why
I'm
haven't
like,
you done this yet?
Yeah. I'm like, hey, just spitballing. Here's 3 names. What do you think? Maybe you have a jumping off point from here.
It's funny. I'm getting peer pressured in the best way because I want to do it. I'm just scared. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It took me a million years to get this podcast started because I've been wanting to do something along the lines of this for years. And now I don't have an excuse because I have the platform. I have the resources. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm going to the All-Star game next weekend. So we'll see what comes out of that. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
like, that's half the battle, letting yourself take up space and be like, I want to say something about this. And that's something I've been fighting back and forth in my brain for the last year as we've gotten a little more reportery and capital J journalisty with being in Chicago. And you're like, there's a team that is welcoming us to games and into the press box and giving us access. So it's just like,
Oh, that's
okay,
awesome.
well, we cover the Red Stars now. And just like finding the confidence to be like, I'm here. I see the games. I see what's happening. Maybe I know something about that.
Yeah,
That-
I think that's what it is. It's
That's
that, do
something that I
know
keep
the
trying
things
to
I
like
know?
bat down.
Yeah.
The
The
imposter
dowdy voice
syndrome.
in my head that's just like, you don't know shit.
Well,
Shut up, brain.
speaking about that, like, there's like seriously about you're developing this, you're getting these cool opportunities. What has been the kind of surprising, maybe you're not fully there, but maybe there was a moment that you were just like, hey, this is legit. What was the event that you were just like, people know us?
It was like going to the World Cup last year. We just set the GoFundMe of just, I don't know, we'll try it. And then people donated. And then we hit our goal. And
And you hit it fast.
God,
Yeah.
you guys are picking up what we're putting down? Really? So that was definitely a moment of just a little touch of validation of just, okay, I think people are liking what we're doing and think we should try to just be there for the exciting things in this game. And that was definitely a strange moment that I am only just processing, really, a year later of just like, hey, damn, okay. We'll
so
keep
much
doing
of
this,
it-
I guess.
Yeah, so much of it is that you two are so authentic in your love of the sport, your love of women's sports, and it's a safe place for so many of us because sports online communities are not always welcoming. They're not always like enjoyable to be part of. And I think WOSO in general has maintained that a lot longer than other sports has.
Yeah.
And how, I don't know, but I'm so grateful that it has.
Yeah, I do think it's a thing that's kind of unique to women's sports no, I saw this, there's a woman on TikTok who just had like that kind of typical, I'm a straight white girl and I like sports thing where she was just like, I thought I hate sports, but it turns out I just hate men's sports.
That.
Yeah.
I saw that last night and she went to a Liberty game or something.
Yeah.
And she goes, and now I need season tickets. This is the best night of my life. There wasn't this underlying threat.
I think that's the funniest take of I thought I hated sports. No, it's just men's sports.
It's just dealing with men's sports and the men who attach a little too much of their personality to men's sports, like really drunk and really angry and really belligerent while they watch sports and have to yell and say racist and homophobic things. I hope that is something that women's sports can keep doing to set themselves apart in creating this space that's friendly and welcoming. It doesn't have to be a thing where you can't cheer for your team and you can't root them on. I think there's a difference between the two, but yeah, I don't know what that between like good old fashioned family fun and like, no, we're just good time.
Can be like, you can go into a women's sporting event and it can be contentious. In 2022, was it 2022? Yeah, I went to a playoff game in Phoenix between the Phoenix Mercury and the Aces. And I'm friends with Chelsea Gray's wife. We went to college together. And so I'm there cheering for the Aces in Phoenix, which is, you don't go into Footprint Center and not cheer for the Phoenix Mercury. And people were talking to me. I'm just there by myself, hanging out. And at halftime, I went down and talked with Tepessa. And they're like, was that Chelsea Gray's wife? And I was like, oh, yeah, we went to college together. We've known each other for a long time, whatever. Because she's just my friend. It's not like this big, exciting thing for me, but it's cool. And this woman's, are you cheering for them? Do you want the Aces to win? I was like, I'm not. Listen,
I've watched
the W. Yeah, I got found out and I was like, oh, crap. I'm here by myself. I have no fun. I'm not wearing any team gear. I went in very neutral because I'm just there. I was truly there for the basketball. I just happened to know someone. Like, it was one of those, oh, crap.
I'm here for a good time.
Yeah. And it was like the lady next to me stopped talking to me. People in front of me were like, wow. Because I was like in the 10th row and I'm just like, I don't care. This is great. Like, that's what I love about sports is going into another arena and someone finding out that you're not necessarily there for their team. And they're just like, and just let you go. But it wasn't threatening. It was just like, oh, so you make bad decisions. Got it. I don't need to be part of that.
But like no one's throwing beer at you.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think the most fun I've had at sporting events has been when, and it's sad to say that this is the low bar of it, right? But when you find the other people that are like decent human beings that understand this is a game and we can have our passions and stuff, but you're still a person. In the end of it all, you're still a person. My brother and I went to the MLS final, the MLS Cup final last year because it was in Columbus, and flew last minute, did the whole thing to like really as much of a 24-hour kind of trip you can do to Columbus. That's essentially what we ended up doing. But everybody we met was so cool, was so nice, even at the game, like pre-game. And it's what we talk about, like Angela and I, it's once the whistle blows, I don't know you, you're dead to me, right?
Yeah.
Till the end of that other whistle. And then it's, oh, cool. What'd you think of the game? And it's, oh, do you need some space right now? Okay. Yeah, I get it. But everybody was cool. And then, we went to go drink our sorrows after the match. But, like, the other Columbus fans we met, like, at the bar, like, they were just super chill. And we were saying congrats. And they were super happy. They're like, you guys did great. Like, it was a good time with good people, good humans. Whereas you get into some other situations where you're like, guys, it's just a goddamn game. Like, why? It's silly at times, but that's the fun.
That's why I'm
right?
recruiting you to women's sports, Mario. Because it's way into your vibe of I just want to watch a good sporting event and then go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mario, as the man on this podcast, are men okay?
No. There's something.
Friends, you've heard it here first. Men are not okay.
No, unfortunately, I think it's just one of those things where it's like the machismo or the you gotta be a man thing that's like usually ingrained into you as like a child. Boys don't cry, that whole BS. And then like that compounded by thousands of people, and then just mob mentality of like you're in a match and it's angry, and then it's just you're angry with them, and then everybody's more angry, and then it's just
Yeah.
But and then I totally get it, because I am one to enjoy a couple of drinks. There's no way I want to be blackout drunk in a midst of 30,000 people. No, like that doesn't sound like
That
fun.
seems so anxiety inducing.
Yeah.
It's just no
So,
thanks.
but then there are those people. There's, especially for big rivalries, I've seen people not
Yeah.
even make it into the stadium because they're just done by the time that even the game's about to start, and they're being like wheeled out. Just like, how did you get it to that point? Why? The people around you let it get to that point.
that part.
Yes, your actions are your own, and
But where are
you're
your
dumb for
friends?
it.
System.
But where were your friends? Where was someone to be like, dude, slow down, you know? Or like,
you want to make it to the game.
yeah, like not Weekend at Bernie's at the game. Like we want you to enjoy.
These tickets are expensive, man.
Exactly.
You gotta
Yeah.
see it through.
Exactly, and that's the other kind of point. It's just, look, especially for the big matches like the Copa America and things like that, where like they're paying hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars for those tickets, and you go to fight and get banned.
Yeah.
Okay, like
Is that
what
worth
did you
it?
achieve? Your team still lost.
Yeah, you got kicked out. Your team lost. It's just all bad.
And
Really?
and you getting kicked out is not going to change the result. I don't know what you were doing. All right, I think let's bring it back.
I know,
to the
we could
Olympics.
soapbox.
Hug a man. Hug a man.
Yeah, check in with your local man. See if he's okay. He's probably not. All right, back to Olympic talk. All the Olympics are going to be on NBC as usual. But the great thing about it this year is that NBC now has a pretty solid streaming app. So it's going to be available everywhere. So if you want to watch it on TV, on broadcast TV, check the NBC Olympic website. They have the whole schedule there. The cool thing is if you let it, it'll give you your times in your own time zone. For the soccer matches in particular, they're going to be on Telemundo and Universo in Spanish, and they're also going to be on the USA Network in English. But the best part of everything is if you have the Peacock app, every single match, regardless if it's being broadcast or not, will be available to stream and will be available, according to what they say, immediately rewatch right after.
And that's every match, every event, everything,
Every
Olympic
everything.
something. Oh,
If-
it's the best. I'm so excited.
If you are like ride or die for that badminton team, because that's what you did in high school or in college, and that's what
Yep.
like it's going to be available. So that's the great part of all of this. But today we are talking about Group B. Like we said, USA, Zambia, Germany, and Australia. And all the matches actually start the day before the opening ceremonies. On Thursday, July 25th, Group B, 10 a.m. will be Germany versus Australia. 12 will be the US versus Zambia. On Sunday, July 28th, we also have a 10 a.m. match with Australia versus Zambia, and at 12 with USA versus Germany. All these times are Pacific, by the way. And Wednesday, July 31st, we have both Group B matches will be at 10 a.m. It'll be Australia versus the US and Zambia versus Germany. And who's coming out of this? I have no clue. And I'm hoping that Lesley and Angela can clue me in. And if we still come out of this thing not knowing, at least you
We
found out
don't
about some
know.
cool players.
Listen, this crop of pre-Olympic friendlies are not helping.
No, they're really not. And I feel like all four of these teams right now are in this weird transition phase of their dominance.
Uh-huh.
Because we have it listed out. I'm not gonna go backwards just
I was
because
gonna ask,
I
like,
feel like
what
we
order
should
did-
end with the US to hopefully get all the stuff out. Like Australia is there without Sam Kerr,
Yep.
which it's just a bummer in general, because who doesn't love watching Sam Kerr? There's backflips. There's goals from places you didn't even know she could score from. There's goals from another country flying. She's just so fun to watch. And that's not to say that they don't have other great players, but like that's your big ticket item.
She is it when it comes to soccer in Australia. And
Yeah.
I think Australia's in this, they have all the momentum coming off of the last World Cup and what might be Tony Gustafson's last tournament with the Matildas.
Right.
And so there's, from my seat, there's definitely a feeling of this is the last chance for this group, and makes it just so unfortunate that Sam Kerr can't.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely
feel like they
agree.
miss her so much.
Let me see. I'm just looking at the roster right now. I'm glad Alana Kennedy's still there because she's so fun to watch. She was fun to watch in the NWSL. Eva calls her, that's my string bean. She's just so tall and so thin, and but she's so crafty and so fun to watch. And
Also is just like a little stinker of,
yeah. Absolutely. And their forwards, to have Caitlin, is it Ford or Ford? Do you know how to pronounce her last name?
I mean, she's
it's 2 O's.
Ford.
So I don't know.
I've been saying Ford, so I hope
okay,
I'm right.
Perfect. And Haley Rassel, you have fantastic. There's nothing in this team that says that they're lacking.
No.
And that's the hard part, because they've always been on the cusp. They'll make it out of the groups and lose in the next round, or just squeak by and not make it out of the groups in a tournament. So they're always on the cusp of a big run, and I think the World Cup on home soil got them there. Like, it helped push them through. So I'm curious to see what they do with, like you said, with that momentum, and really, like, what are we going to do with this? Can we make this push? They have fantastic keepers. Mackenzie Arnold's moving to the Thorns after the tournament, so we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like Australia has the pieces, but I don't want to say Sam Kerr is the glue, but
Sometimes.
she's important. She is so important to this team.
Yeah.
And I think this group in particular is tricky. There are games here where I don't know who's going to win, and I have my hope for the United States. But when I look at that second spot, I can't say.
There's a universe where every option is checked off, like where it's US Zambia or US Germany, US Australia, and then every option after that. All of them make sense out of this group.
Absolutely.
I feel like this whole conversation is gonna be like, we don't know what's going on. This is stressful.
We don't though. Like,
okay, so we've talked in the transparency of the magical world of podcasting. This is the last episode we're recording for the group stages, and we have got others, but since you get the opportunity of being the privileged last one here, when you look at the other groups, are you thinking this one's the most, not only because the US is in it, but is this the one the most unknown, so might be the most fun to watch just because it's like it's going to be chaos? Or are you still feeling like, oh, group A or group C is going to be a little bit more fun to watch because of the particular matchups they have on those sides?
Well, I'm trying to remember the group that Spain is in.
Oh yeah, Spain, Japan, Nigeria,
and Brazil.
That one's gonna
Brazil.
I think we are. I think we are in an embarrassment of riches right now of good opportunities to watch matches that are going to be like, the opportunities are, not to say they're endless, but they are. Just the nature of the Olympic tournament is also contributing to this, but I think the beautiful thing about this tournament is that there is so much up in the air. This
is the first time in a long time.
Yeah, there's no guineas on the board right now.
Okay. So I think that group, the Spain, Japan, was that Group C you said?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, Group C. That's going to be the most prolific group, I think. Goal scoring wise, just crafty soccer wise, I think this one's going to be the most stressful. Just for all of us.
Yeah, for us, this is just. I look at these 4 teams, and the possibilities are all there.
Yeah.
Do you think the U.S. is better equipped going into this tournament than they have been in the last 2? I think we've seen the opening games of the last 2 tournaments, and they've been shaky.
Rocky. Yeah.
And if they can play like they did even yesterday in their first game, great. I love it. Give it.
We're starting to look closer to U.S. soccer again, I think. And that's one thing that we've talked about here is that the Vlatko era of the women's national team is just confusing.
It's confusing.
It's so confusing to
confusing
so
and just,
many of us.
Well, especially with not helping is seeing Kansas City.
Yes.
At the top of the table, just be like,
And
are you the
that's
same
Vlatko.
coach?
Yeah.
That was something
Yeah,
that was something that threw me for a loop because, like I said, new to the league, new to everything, and so Angela's really been the one teaching me. And then when we started, this was last year with the Olympics, and then I'm like, whoa, Vlatko, what the hell is happening here? Okay, very much the discord that's happening at the moment with new commentators in the women's sports space. Like, I'm seeing the top level surface stuff, and then so I'm like, what the hell, Vlatko? Who is
He's
this
like
guy?
this. I was like, no.
And then Angela's club wise, he was amazing. He did great. It's just what's going on.
Yeah.
And then he goes back, and we were joking, right? He goes back. He's named head coach. Freya, who got fired from Angel City, gets named assistant, and so we're like, oh, there we go. Team no sub. All these jokes come up, and then lights out. They are doing blockbuster matches, and it's just
cooking on the pots and pans. We are the top of the league. That is.
Yeah.
It was not what I
whiplash.
expected either, if that helps.
Yeah, it's a big whiplash, I think, for a lot of, for basically everyone, probably including the players on the national team of just, we couldn't put it together. What was happening?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I will say in the 3 short games that we've seen with Emma Hayes, she's someone who came into the program with just a lot of purpose. And it sounds silly, but just like purpose and ideas. He had a very strong sense of self coming in. I think that was necessarily how Vlatko Ananovsky was coming in.
Yeah. I think, too, her having a lot more international experience coaching and moving around in different situations, like in the U20s, in the WSL, being in different places, you're looking at things differently, not just, oh, I'm just coaching this team. No, you're picking and choosing and playing chess while you're watching a soccer match. But we'll get to the U.S. in a second. Germany is a team that I equate to the U.S. right now as to like their transition, because they're a powerhouse. Germany in general in sports, if you're playing Germany, it's, oh, dang it. Like, they might not be the best team. Yeah, they're going to play like they're the best team. Yeah. They show up.
Yeah. And I think what was so surprising last was that they got grouped. Like, this was the runner-up of the European Championship the year before. Minutes away from a penalty shootout against England, and they got grouped.
Yeah.
And they still have been on that. They've been shaky.
Yeah. And I looked at their coaching situation after the World Cup. They ousted their coach. Right. Their interim coach was the interim coach before their last head coach. So he's been... It's
Mr.
like Houston.
Interim.
Yeah. It's like Houston Dash, where they just have the same interim coach and nothing, and they just bring in a new head coach every couple of years for I don't know what. But it's... And then they have a new permanent coach taking over after the Olympics. So I'm curious, are they treating this as like practice? Or I don't know.
I don't really know what to make of the German team, if I'm being honest. Like,
yeah.
I feel like their results over the past year haven't really been that encouraging. Like, they lost yesterday or Friday.
Yeah.
And
in a friendly, like in a game that's set up for them to win, which is interesting.
Yes. And in this group too, like they lost to Zambia before the World Cup last year.
Yeah.
I think Barbara Amanda got a hat trick as she
As she
tends
would.
to do.
Yeah.
It's shown already to
And
everybody else.
yeah, and they just lost it at the end of the match. And Germany, what are you doing? Where you been? You okay, buddy? And it seems like the answer is no.
Yeah, and it has to be weird for the players too. They're 2-time World Cup, like back-to-back World Cup champions, 2016 gold medalists. They've won the Euros 8 times. So this isn't a team that doesn't know how to get to the next level, or a federation that doesn't know how to get their team to the next level. It's just transitional. And I think we're going to see this. I feel like there'll be a resurgence within the next couple of years. Probably before the next World Cup, they're going to really start building and recalibrating and locking in again. But I have no idea what to expect.
No, I don't. Like before the game on Friday when they just lost, going into it, I was like, oh, Germany could be fun. They could be having their turnaround, and they lost. I was like, maybe not. Maybe they need more time.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I feel like so much of women's international soccer last year and this year is a whole bunch of, I don't know. There's big parity talk all the time, but like that's gotten so much smaller. There's not as much of a discrepancy between a lot of the teams. The discrepancy is now in the federations.
Yeah.
Like the skill level,
I mean, it does kind of make you ask what's going on in
Germany,
that they're allowing this to happen.
Yeah. And it's really interesting too, because I looked up their roster to see where their different players were playing. And I think it was all but 3, and one of the reserves plays in the German leagues. They don't venture out. And I'm wondering if that's part of it, but who knows?
Maybe. But I also feel like the German league is trying to better themselves. Like, aren't they? Mm-hmm. I think they're like expanding for next season.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the answer is. I feel like I would have said maybe Germany could put up a fight in this tournament, but I am honestly not sure.
I know.
Need you to show me something, and that's not what they've been doing.
Yeah, blink twice if you're okay. If not, just
no blinks.
Do your best to get through
no
this.
Blinks happening.
Yeah. And then you mentioned the only Barbara Banda. Like, just...
Oh, she loves a big tournament and a stage.
Yep.
Each tournament better than the last.
Zambia is just, I think they're going to be the darling of the Olympics this year.
It is my hope. I feel like the bigger the stage, the brighter she shines. Maybe this is the year that she goes 3 straight games with 3 hat tricks.
I know.
And yeah, I think there's just going to be no fear in that Zambia team, especially against the United States.
They have nothing to lose.
They know the NWSL.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's definitely a team that you absolutely cannot count out. A really unfortunate group draw in the World Cup. Like, they had Japan and Spain in their group, and so
the fact that Japan and Spain keep getting paired up is a detriment to the rest of the teams. Split them up, please.
Some jokes happening.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think Zambia is going to be a little bit of an instigator, an upsetter, a troublesome team to try to play through.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they make it to the knockout rounds. And then if they do, we can all say, yeah, no, I knew that. I told you.
We told you they were good. What did you expect?
Corbin she is a one-woman wrecking crew. She can do it by herself if she has to. But as we saw on Friday or yesterday when they played New Zealand, they tied New Zealand without her on the field for most of the game.
Yeah.
So they have option.
We're seeing that now more so in the NWSL as it becomes more international. We joke that Orlando is just Brazilombia. It's
Rio de Orlando.
Yeah, basically. You have half the Brazilian national team, 2 players from the Zambian national team. They're going to be very good. And to be recruited, I fully believe that Marta had a big hand in being like, we need her.
Oh, yeah.
I'm no longer in my prime. I'm in the twilight of my career. You need a prolific scorer.
But also, like,
And
if you're a young Brazilian player who's been looking up to Marta your entire life, and she's her team is calling,
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Don't wait, I'll be there.
Absolutely. I'd be like, when's my flight? Like,
yeah. And then with the way Marta has been this kind of pipeline, I feel now with the Zambian players, like now that there's 2, it's on. We can 3.
Oh, 2 in Orlando, 1 in Bay.
Yeah. But like on Brasileirão basically, it's gonna start becoming okay. Maybe that's another pipeline, and then it's okay. Now we get another Zambian player, like another one, and then it's just gonna be like a true Brasileirão team. And I think that's a lot of it, right? That's a lot of when it comes to especially international players. It's the reality or the truthfulness of work job seeking, and it's like word of mouth. It's hey, this place is nice to come play for.
Yeah, we have a practice facility, and our coaches are cool.
Now
you
our
give
coaches
them
are
the
cool.
Intel. There's snacks in the break room. Yeah, Zambia is just gonna be so fun to watch. In general, they're just a fun team. I'm hoping, similar to the World Cup, that we get a lot of behind the scenes footage from them, the way we did with the World Cup, and like you just get to see how joyful they are as a team.
Yeah.
Such a high pressure environment, so stressful, and they're just dancing around, having fun, and it's such a difference in culture. But I'm like, bring more of that. Sports as a whole need to remember the joy. And I think, like, to transition a little bit, I think the U.S. is getting back to that. But I have thoughts about it. Big thoughts.
Major thoughts everywhere, yes.
Yeah. I think we'll be fine, generally. I think we'll make it out of the group.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said that 2 months ago. But after the last couple games, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, I do think the way Emma Hayes has come in and the team she's selecting, I think it's been a short amount of time, but she has a good handle on who this team is and how they work. It takes time sometimes, and it'll take opportunities for the team to finish and do their jobs. But like how many times did we see Sophia Smith and Trinity Rodman even play together under Vlatko and Anowski? I feel like they replaced each other usually.
Like, let's get these 2 hotshots on the pitch together. It was like 1 for 1.
Yeah. And I feel, and even just having Mel Swanson back, like she loves scoring goals. It feels like her reason for living is putting the ball in the net.
Absolutely.
And just like running at the perfect angle to catch from the midfield. I think it shows how much we missed her last summer.
Yeah.
She has a way of bailing out the teams that she's on. And as a Chicago person, it's something I
was gonna say,
a lot,
as something you see a lot of
in the past few years and in the present tense. But yeah, she does have this way of putting the game on her back and just being like, all right, shit, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys are going to do it, just get me the ball and I'll take care
I'll
of
do it. Fine.
Yeah, to navigate towards more of the women's national team lore, I feel like this transition is such a weird one for so many of us in so many ways. It's a transition away from the equal pay team. It's a transition away from the go gays of it all. The 10 lesbians and Alex Morgan. There's so many significant women's soccer moments that have happened over the last 10 years with players who are now officially off the team and have I say graduated, whether it was by choice or not, but the window has passed and moved on. And I think this team has a lot of soul searching to do to find their identity and like figure out if they're going to keep fighting the fight that this team is known for. I'm trying to be very graceful because I can be very strong-willed in my words. Like,
well,
but yeah.
I think when we look at just like the last, I guess it's the last 5 years now of World Cup cycle, the Olympics, the World Cup, and again, the team has almost had a full changeover in that, and it's happened in a way that is overdue in some cases, in still jarring, I'm sure, like to come to an international tournament and see that Alex Morgan is not on the list. Like it's, you look critically at how she's played over the last couple of years and you think it's right, but it still hurts. And I think, I don't know how much of it is just like the change of leadership at U.S. Soccer, the change of coaching. Like a lot of this could have happened in that period between France and Tokyo, and of just like, all right, let's change up.
Yeah.
And there were perhaps some lost opportunities there to bring in younger talent in a timely manner. So we ended up going to a tournament last year with a couple of substitutions. Like I adore Alyssa Thompson, and I think she will have a very robust future. But I think I was a little confused at how we were close to the World Cup and we had no seasoned alternate for Mal Swanson.
Yeah, there was a lot of. We waited too long on a lot of decisions. I think that we needed to make very quickly after the World Cup or after 2019 to be like, okay, what's our pipeline? Who's coming in? Who are we developing? And I think that's really what it was. There wasn't enough time for any player development at that level. Let the team cook enough.
The kitchen was bare. The pantry was empty. There was no prep happening during the day shift.
No seasons to use, nothing.
It was, and to our detriment, Brit, last summer.
Absolutely.
And I do think we're still building back from it. But we kind of just let Carly Lloyd have a 6-game farewell tour and didn't think that maybe during that time we could have been putting in a replacement player. Nope. Just let's do the extended goodbye in a World Cup cycle. Fine. It's fine.
Has she blocked you on Twitter or anything yet?
Me personally, yes. Galpel Sports, no.
The honor of being blocked.
Oh, yeah. Although I'm surprised she hasn't blocked us as a company. It's like
maybe
we did.
Maybe 2 and 2 hasn't
Definitely
been put
personality.
together.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We did a couple of videos and a couple of very direct call outs, and she graciously did not block us. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I still can see what she read.
For better, for worse, I think at this point.
Yeah.
I'm super bummed about the Kat Macario news because I think everybody was just really hoping. And it's hard because I'm super bummed about that, but I'm so pumped that Lynn Williams is now no longer an alternate. Like, it's one of those where, why can't I have both?
Yeah, you look at Kat Macario, Kristen Press.
Yeah.
ACL tears are just not this straightforward thing of 6 to 9 months. You really don't know how it's going to go. And with Kat, it's like her other knee too, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah. I think a lot of that standpoint, I have a lot of them. It's what, like, I medically retired from track and field, all that. So I've got new parts in my ankle, all kinds of things. But one, like, everybody heals differently, but I think we're finding out more now that ACL tears aren't as cut and dry as they either used to be or we thought they were.
Yeah.
And that's why they're doing these like micro surgeries instead of one big situation, which is great, but it also prolongs the healing process and messes with your body more just from anesthesia standpoint. And then regardless of the severity of your injury, the other side of your body is overcompensating in general. It has to. It's taking on more stress because you're on crutches or you're on a stupid scooter that messes up your hips. I have no personal feelings about that. Not at all. Nope. None. And when it's one of those things that I think we're having to look at injuries as a whole in a way, way more nuanced manner.
Yeah. And from the fan side, I could see them. It's such a bummer to see Kat Macario miss another major tournament because of a knee injury. But you hope that taking this step leaves open an opportunity further down the road. Maybe because of this rest, we can have her again.
Yeah, I feel like we're sacrificing to the soccer gods of, you can have her for the Olympics, only if we can have her for the next World Cup. Please
let us have Katerina Macario for a World Cup.
Yeah. And honestly, part of it is selfish. Obviously, she's on my team, but she is amazing to watch. And just let me have it.
Yeah. The 7 minutes of 2021 were not enough.
No, not at all. Not at all. And for folks who are newer to women's soccer, like, we're unfortunately missing such amazing, prolific players. Like, across soccer right now, there's so many knee injuries. But yeah, it's a big bummer, but we get to see Linny.
We do get to see Lynn Williams.
And I have a feeling she's going to go on a tear. I feel like she's ready. An inkling.
She hasn't really had a lot of time this season to really spread her bat wings, and I look forward to seeing her really tear it up. And yeah, I feel like she's another player who, you give her a big stage, she'll shine.
Yeah, and she's so fast. Like, she, I think, was the fastest in the NWSL a couple seasons back. Mm-hmm. And that's on par with Krieg's of how fast they are. Yeah. And as somebody who came from the track and field world, I'm used to watching fast runners, and soccer runners are different.
Yeah. And what's great about Lynn Williams' game is that she uses that speed in both directions, and she'll come back and defend and win the ball back and just be like, yeah, I'll run it, but let's do it again. I'll just run up and down the pitch a million times. I got that gas in my tank.
Lynn, I guess we're at the point of having to talk about the Corbin Albert of it all.
Hold on, if I can just... Yeah, it is... Look, I am a human being who has a heart and empathy, so I feel for the kid for getting booed. I'm like, it's something that when you're a little kid and you dream of playing for the national team, that's not how you imagine it. You don't imagine that the people boo when your name is called. On the other hand, as a queer disabled person living in the United States,
how dare you?
That is not to say it's a similar experience, but it is in a lot of spaces.
Yeah.
There are people who cannot go about their day being entirely who they are because of the homophobia in this country. For me personally, I understand that Emma Hayes wants the fan base to embrace her and just really take her as a member of this team. But as a human being with thoughts and feelings, I need to see more from Corbin.
For me, this was a public thing. You have to prove it to me publicly. It's not, so-and-so said this, and then they said that, and then it trickles out that a weird conversation was had. It was like, no, we saw what your actions were. We saw the intent of those actions. Whether or not you had the wherewithal to understand that, you have to take this like an adult. And being in the same grown adult with thoughts and feelings as a queer disabled person, nah, I don't trust it. And I need you to show your work. We will try. We've done it with other players. We've done it with, there were people in Angel City of, this came out. What about that?
Yeah.
And then it was very quickly learned that there was nothing to do about that because the person didn't want to do anything about that, and that decision was made and that contract was ended. Where is that part? And I think the hard part for me with this statement from the team and from Emma is that it's like, she's not necessarily the victim.
No.
Stop treating it like that. Because that was an active decision. Whether it was taught to her that was the right belief set, or she embodies it herself. There's a lot to unpack there as well. But we are attacked on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm worried that I don't get married in a year. I'm worried that I lose rights in a year. And you think it's okay to post things that are detrimental to our community because it's quote unquote wrong based on whatever the hell you believe in. And then to post something about a player being happy they got hurt. And this is taking out who the player was. That is
any
abysmal
player
in sport. Yeah, it's offensive in sport. Injuries are like the last thing anybody wants, even for your toughest of competition, because you want to compete against the best.
Yeah.
You don't want a star player to get injured, because then what's the point? Like you're automatically playing against a lesser team by accident, of course, but you don't get to play to the highest level. You still should, but it changes the dynamic. And then to add in that it's Pinot, I don't know what to say to that. It's so stressful for us as a whole, I think, community, because this is somebody who put their career on the line for the greater good of our community. And this child came in, said some shit. We don't know if there were consequences, because based on the staffing of the team right now, I don't think there were. But based on other statements that have come out, was there any repercussions? Was there anything? Or are we just supposed to say, oh, you said sorry? Because that's not how that works.
Yeah, and I think that is a big part of it. Well, I'm reasonable, I'm rational, I'm open to someone growing and bettering themselves. But as far as we know, everything that Corbin Albert has been doing to recover from this has been in the background, has been behind the scenes, just work happening in places where we can't see. It's like, is she reading books? Is she talking to the queer community in any sort of way? Is she volunteering with youth shelters? Has she learned anything? Has she met a gay person?
Has she ever had a full conversation with Jane Campbell?
Yeah, because so much of it is just, it comes out of ignorance and not knowing. Yeah. And in like the most gracious way for me to give this to her is, okay, you just weren't raised in an environment that was welcoming to gay people, and now you're in one, and you can hop on board with that and be cool with that, or suffer no consequences, because that's kind of the thing we're seeing right now. Yeah. And that's what's frustrating for people.
Yeah, it was super difficult to see her in Pinot's number that first match. And then to have her in the next match in Kelly O'Hara's number. And then the next match in a different number. I'm like, ooh, what is happening?
Hot potato.
Yeah. Because if it were me, I would have made a phone call and said, if she's in my number ever again, I don't know what, I would threaten something. Like, do not. That's, no. I want to be positive about this. And I appreciate how much you and Emily have been vocal about it through Gal Pal, through your own accounts, all of that. Because I think it needs to be talked about. It needs to be talked about a lot more, because this team has been so inclusive and so welcoming and so accepting of so much while fighting for so much. It feels like it's not that in general anymore. And that players have forgotten that equal pay was like legit in the last 5 years. This just happened and we're already forgetting our history.
Yeah. Well, Andre Carlisle just wrote about that. Yeah. Where it's like the US is losing recipes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. It is kind of strange to think that it really is just like these last 5 years have been a pivotal time in the sport, and it feels like we're in this weird after time of like, Oh, everything was always great all the time. There was
We're
no
like,
strife.
nuh-uh. I was there for the strife. No.
Not here. No, this team had strife. You're thinking of someone else. Getting gaslit.
Yeah, that's totally what it is. I feel like collectively, those of us who have watched the progression of women's soccer, specifically the national team, and followed it outside of the sport, those players were so pivotal for so many of us. Like, they brought us in for so many different reasons. The Crashland of it all, the priest of it all, like all of the things, the generational torch handing. It's just, there's so much. And now I'm just like, all right, go team. Granted, it's just because I'm older, but
Yeah.
it's difficult to see players who have what they have because of folks who have just retired last season.
Yeah.
Just be like, oh yeah, it's just like this. And I think it was Naomi or Sophia. I don't remember who said it, but I think Alex got one of the equal pay checks of the back pay. And they're like, dang, I wish I had checks like that. And they were like, no, you don't. And Alex was just
You
like,
don't want
no,
this.
You don't want this. This is because I didn't get paid. You're getting paid now. This is because I made $10 and I was supposed to make $3,000. This is an accomplishment, yes, but it's not the cool thing it is perceived to be.
Yeah, it's like your check is bigger because of this one.
Yeah. And it's going to be such an interesting chapter. This is officially like the next chapter of this team.
Yeah, it's weird to think about.
Yeah. I saw the TikTok video they just did with Alyssa Nair at the end of it. A cargo pants and a t-shirt, that whole thing. And everybody being like, we're fine. Alyssa Nair's in a TikTok. We're winning the table. We've got this. And I'm like,
we're gonna win.
Yeah. We've got Uncle Alyssa out there. Hell yeah. And I'm like, that's fair. But it's different. It's different now.
It is. It is different. I think there are a lot of good things still to come with this team. I think having a squad just be unburdened by all the things that came with an equal pay fight is ultimately for the better. And I don't know. I'm not attaching myself to a possibility this tournament. I am okay with the U.S. not even meddling if it means that the World Cup in a couple of years, they have their shit together.
Yeah.
But even just the way they've been playing the last 3 games, it's just, no, I think they're going to be okay.
Yeah. Watching that first friendly with Emma, I was like, oh, there
Those
we
Korea
are.
games
Like,
were
it's
good.
that feeling from the movie Hook where the littlest lost boy goes up to Peter and like squishes his face, pulls it back, and he's, there you are, Peter. That felt like, oh, okay. The magic is still there. The great soccer is still there. We just had some issues for a little bit.
I think that's your second
The U.S.
Hook
women's
reference.
national team is
I think
still
it is,
there.
too. It's my favorite scene in Hook, too, because it's so sweet.
Emily loves that movie, by the way.
Perfect.
Yeah. I was
You have
just
to
saying,
tell her we mentioned it.
I was just saying this is her second Hook reference on the pod. Which is great. I love that we have the same references. We had a Rookie of the Year reference like a episode or two ago.
Yeah, not too long ago.
Yeah. I know I've been quiet for most of the US talk. I feel the same way. Like it was like, what the hell? But as we've talked about this before, it's just lived experiences, and like it hits different, right? For the community at large, the entirety of the LGBT community, or the just most women's sports fans.
Yeah.
Do you not understand like what
we know
this
you're young,
is?
but you were alive 5 years ago with like you had conscious thought.
Yeah. And so, and part of me is, okay, this is probably, you think of big corporate entities like that. They're just going like crazy PR. You are a ticking word bomb. Like, you are not going to speak publicly at all because we don't want you fucking it up. We're working on you. don't fuck it up. And they're just keeping her away from, and to a certain extent, it's like, cool, I understand what you're doing. And if there is behind the scenes work being done, cool, but you're not reassuring your fan base. You're not reassuring the people that have been there supporting the people that were hurt. And essentially your bread and butter. There's a very different, we all bleed red, white, and blue when it comes to the team, but it's also a very different demographic from the 4-star crest to the no-star crest, right? Very different demo. And hey, US, you're trying to not let her fuck it up. You should also not fuck it up. No?
Yeah.
It is a we happening here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I am with you all on this. And I know it's hard to try to look past the quote-unquote Corbin Albert of it all and look at the rest of the team and be like, the Olympics are happening. Yay. That's always going to be like the big downer. But I do appreciate the fact that like all of us at a certain point can get just a little bit past her to be like, look, right now you're still an awful person. but 99% of the rest of the team is not, and we're gonna cheer for them. We'll boo you. Boo earns, right? That whole thing. But we can still cheer red, white, and blue. And
honestly, like, I don't think she's going to see too much playing time. Okay.
Yeah, but she's mostly come off the bench.
Yeah.
For
just like 75-minute subs. So,
and it could
we'll
be
see.
Part of. I honestly don't know if, and I could be completely wrong on this, but it could be just. We've talked about the ACFC side of Tweed's team not exactly being fully Tweed's team. It's been the remnants of Freya being kind of patchworked a little bit. So it's not really all the pieces she wants. And in this sense of like the US team, it's you were saying about the World Cup, where, you know, putting Alyssa in or putting her on the team like last minute. Also, as an ACSC fan base, we were just like, why the hell didn't she get to play? But things probably would have ended differently if she did. Probably
same with Ashley Sanchez. Like, why are you bringing somebody you don't plan to play?
God, she was
but
and then to
so
tell
dirty.
them that.
Yeah.
But and then being like, look, Emma, like, you know, you finished your time at Chelsea. The kind of qualifiers and everything started up already, so you have the team you have, right? So deal with it, and then you've got 3 years till the next World Cup, or 2 years to the next World Cup before to mold the team the way you want, right? So, you know, hopefully some light at the end of the tunnel. Someone?
Yeah. Overall, I am feeling much more optimistic than I was a year ago.
Yeah. Same. I have a lot of hope for this team and the future of this team. It's just right now I feel like everybody has a bad taste in their mouth given the personnel side of things. The soccer, I think we're doing all right.
Yeah. And like, honestly, winning fixes a lot. If you come back with a gold medal, everything's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you're in America, coming home gold is a lot different than silver. And yeah, we do like to win. And this team likes to win. So I think we'll be all right. I think we'll make it out of the groups. I think we'll make a good showing at least.
Yeah, that's going to be this, you know, knock on wood. It's going to be a good tournament.
Mm-hmm.
What's the quote? Second place is like first loser. You're like, nah.
If you're not first, you're last.
First, you're last.
I just watched Talladega on 4th of July with Eva. We were just like, she's like, I want to watch a movie. I was like, do you want? And it's one of.
How did you not watch Independence Day?
Because
we watched Independence Day.
Yeah.
I don't know. We also didn't really know what day it was because the last 6 weeks has been bonkers. But she was like, I want to watch a movie. We're scrolling through, I think it was on Disney Plus, and I was like, do you want to watch Talladega? And she was like, I don't think I've seen that in 10 years. And it's top 10 movies for me. And she's like, you're going to quote this thing. I'm like doing
You
dishes,
betcha.
quoting the movie, like just, it was fantastic. But
Come at you like a spider monkey.
All right. I think we're gonna wrap this thing up. We've said what we've said. Nothing's coming out. It is what it is because it's the truth. But with the amazingness of the fact that Peacock is going to be streaming everything. Honestly, Peacock sponsor the pod because we've been hyping this thing up like crazy. Yeah,
all of us.
Yeah,
just hook us up.
Well, just make us all affiliates. It'll be great.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it'll be great.
What other sports do you like watching during the Olympics? What are you looking forward to?
Gymnastics, obviously, but to get really obscure Olympic brain, the track cycling where they're on like that bank track and they've got those heavy ass bikes. I love watching that. It is one of my favorite sports that I watch every 4 years and forget about for the time in between. But
It's so
I am
stressful.
so obsessed with those bicycles.
It's like speed skating in the sense
Yeah.
of like, how do you stay upright? How do you not
Well, they
crash
have
into
to
each
be, like,
other?
Lifted on to the bikes and like pushed. It's
It's insane. It's so fun to watch though.
yeah. I loves me a velodrome. I think it's called velodrome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
But yeah, that one's gymnastics, swimming, skateboarding was a lot of fun the last time around. I love watching rugby. I am generally a fan of the Olympics, so I'm gonna have an excellent time. I'm really excited that the time changes aren't as severe as they were for the last time around. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Velodrome thing is hence why we called our Sid LaRue bicycle shirt that we have the Veloroo is it's basically a Sidney LaRue bike shop t-shirt.
We've both been wearing it out in public and people are like, oh, where's that shop located? I'm like, it's soccer?
I think
And they're like,
real?
what? It's not. I go, it's about a soccer thing that happened. And they're like, what do you mean? I was like a bicycle kick? And they're like, what's that? So then I get to talk about
in
it.
a plane that you don't know, but you can become aware of if you come to this game with me.
Airdrop you this highlight and then I'll see you at BMO in 2 weeks. Like,
also, I think we definitely run in different circles because I've worn it many times and not a soul has asked me. And it's been one of those things where I'm like, I purposely don't wear a jacket because it's you gotta see it.
Like,
and then
ask me about my shirt.
yeah, exactly. I'm gonna just start wearing a pin that says "Ask me about my shirt." All right, Angela. Any other sports you're thinking about besides the ones we've been saying on the other episodes?
I mean, it's track and field, women's basketball, volleyball, swimming, especially the relays in swimming.
Oh yeah,
Those are just so cool. I want Katie Ledecky to just run the table again, break more of her own records.
medleys in swimming.
Yes.
And they got to switch it up in the middle of it. Yeah, I would
medleys, and then for track and field and I think for swimming now they have the mixed relays. But for track and field, the 4x1 or 400 relay, they have a mixed version, which is really cool to watch. I just like you. I love the Olympics. I will watch everything I can. I get in trouble.
Yeah.
I said it with Casey on another episode where I was like, the Olympics were the benchmark of me realizing I was a grown up and I was no longer in school because it was summertime and I was at work and the Olympics were on and I'm like, this should be illegal. Like,
No, I'm supposed to watch these.
Yeah.
yes. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? My friends are texting me and I'm like, no, I'm at work. Yeah.
So I think it was the World Cup in France, maybe one of the ones where the time wasn't stupid and like around lunchtime for us here in LA.
Yeah, they were.
My office actually turned on the TV on a couple of the conference rooms and like we were like it was just like it was the ability for you to because it was around lunchtime. Go heat up your lunch, go grab your lunch or whatever, and then you can sit in one of the conference rooms to watch the game. And a bunch of people would crowd in there watching whatever game was on at noon, basically, because it was like sanctioned sports watching while we were out. So
My patriotic duty.
yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I was looking at the list again recently, and I was like, I know I've mentioned that I'm into some of the new sports and seeing how it really develops in a kind of Olympic mindset, like skateboarding and BMX bike. But then I noticed that they also have the mountain biking. And I'm like, that looks like it's going to be pretty cool. Besides BMX, like freestyle, they're actually going to have BMX racing too. That can get a little squirrely. And
those
one of
are
the...
are That those are like, we'll occasionally get it on my For You page on TikTok for bull mountain bikers who are just like going down this like
the super
suicide
narrow in
gulch
Chile and
or
stuff.
something. Yeah.
Suicide.
Like,
Like,
I don't know how you do this.
I will participate in most sports, but ones where there's a very high
Imminent
risk
full
of
body
major
risk.
injury and
Yeah.
or death. Like, it's not for me.
Yeah.
Like the ski jumping in Winter Olympics, absolutely not. But I watch it every time. Like,
so
I would.
exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Want no part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The canoe slalom. Basically, I think it's just
Oh,
it's called.
yeah.
It says canoe, but I think it's the kayaking. Like we're
Yeah.
kayaking slalom sometimes because they go backwards. There's times where like the flag is purposely. It's not like step going down. Like one of them will be step backwards, and like they're rushing
Yeah.
against the water. I'm like, dude, this is amazing. So
The
yeah,
upper body strength, like the core strength that goes into paddling like that.
yeah.
Insane.
And I still think the fact that it's, you're going to have a surfing event this year. Oh, yeah. Where is it? Oh, it's like on the other side of the world.
Tahiti.
Yeah, Tahiti. Like,
That is. I guess it's France, but all right.
French Polynesia.
The IOC, I only know this because I just saw it for the games that are going to be here in LA. They're trying to make it more environmentally friendly and not build more stadiums and artificially create things, which I get, but it also sucks for those athletes.
Yeah. You
Because
don't
they
get
don't
to
get to
be
be-
like in it with everybody.
Yeah, women's softball is going to be in Oklahoma. And I'm like,
Yeah, I get it. It's the best stadium we have, arguably, for softball
But
in the United
we have
States.
a lot of stadiums here.
Wait, for the
You could put a mound in Dodger Stadium.
LA games,
Yeah.
for the LA
Yeah.
games, softball's going to be in Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma, and there's a
What?
couple other things going to be in different
Yeah,
places.
there's like a canoe one, too.
Yeah,
That
I
is
think
also
it's
in
in
Oklahoma.
Colorado. Or yeah, there's a couple things in Oklahoma, some stuff in Colorado.
I think surfing is going to be down in like Baja, California, right? It's going to be
Probably.
lower.
Yeah, where the surf is better.
I do believe equestrian events are going to be out by me in the valley.
Yeah,
So,
they're supposed to be out Moore Park.
Yeah. If my daughter's into horses by that time, we got.
How
We're gonna
old is
turn
she?
Maddie.
She's 7.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
she-
know it's
Could be
dangerous
those-
territory.
That could be prime horse girl years.
Yeah.
Although it doesn't, both can't exist at the same time. She's starting soccer this fall.
Yeah,
So we're-
and she's a little fish. She's a swimmer.
and she's a swimmer.
Oh, water baby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's starting soccer. She wants to do gymnastics. So it's one of those things where you don't understand. Mommy and daddy don't have time to do all of this
Yeah,
with you.
all of these things cost money.
One
Like,
at a time, dear.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's only
Yeah,
allowed
and-
to play soccer. That was it.
I got kicked out of gymnastics class for being too tall. So
Oh.
I was 7, and it was after the 96 Olympics. Like Carrie Strug, pre the Carrie Strug injury, I remember so much of that year, like Dominique Dawes, Dominique Mosnow, that team. And then I go to gymnastics class, have the best cartwheel out of everybody, can balance on the beam better than everyone.
Yo,
And
nope,
this
too tall.
teacher was like, "Why do you think you can be in gymnastics? You're too tall." I was also like almost 5 feet tall. I was a full-grown gymnast at that point, and like was like, "You can't be in this class." And I just instant tears. And I walk out. My mom's like, "What happened? What is? You were in there for 15 minutes.
Did
What
you
happened to
insult someone? What happened?
And then she found out, and I have never. It is ingrained in my memory. My mom laying into this
wrath.
guy.
Yeah.
She is a child.
Get them.
Yeah, we got refunds
Yeah.
from the
Hey.
center. Yeah, that it's still so wild to me. I'm like, this is a rec class. Calm down. We're not even at a gym for gymnastics. It's a recreational center that has after school programs.
No stakes. It's happening.
I could just do a cartwheel because I was a Power Rangers fan.
Yeah.
And I was running around doing them every day at school.
Okay, with all those amazing sports we just named, all of those are going to be available on the Peacock app. And like we mentioned before at the top, all matches are going to be streaming, and all the matches start the day before the actual opening games. So just to recap real quick, July 25th, Thursday, 10 a.m. will be Germany, Australia. 12 will be USA, Zambia. On the 28th, Sunday, will be 10 a.m. Australia versus Zambia. 12 p.m. US versus Germany. And then finally, on the 31st, to wrap up group stages, both games will be at 10 a.m. Australia versus the US, and Zambia versus Germany.
I really hope that those two games for all three groups, that last game is at the same time. I really hope there's no super decision makers in that last game. Let me just pick one or something. I don't know. I just hope it's not.
Let's just have the normal amount of boardingness happen. No drawing of lots or coin flips. Just
exactly. Please don't go into PKs. Please don't. Just not that early anyway.
No.
Oh, they won't in the group stages, but still.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I forgot about that.
They'll do a PK at the 90th minute.
They're like, you know what? This year we're going to introduce PKs in the group stages.
Oh my God. Soccer collectively would
implode.
Implode.
That'd be so rude.
Imagine that happens in like the Olympics in LA. It's like, it's in America now.
No, we make our own
no
rules.
ties.
Honestly, oh my gosh. All right, Lesley, thank you so much for hanging out with us for an hour and a half and talking soccer, talking life, talking all the good stuff. We greatly appreciate it. And if you don't already, make sure to follow Gal Pal Sports on just about every major social platform.
Yeah, TikTok, we'll see what happens. But for now, we're still there. I don't think our video has got the same distribution they used to. And we're suspended from trying to promote them. Yeah, tell a friend to tell a friend.
Just keep sharing all of their TikTok videos to piss off TikTok and get them more views. It's your civic duty to as
if you don't,
people.
You're homophobic. That's just
honestly
how it goes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but at Gal Pal Sports, check them out. Check out their website, all the coverage, all the everything. They're fantastic to interact with online, to be friends with, to have just as part of our WOSO community. So thank you again for hanging out. Tell Emily we said hi. Pet the dogs for us. All that good stuff.
Will do.
Yes.
And if you like what you heard today on our Olympic previews, make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening. If you aren't already, somebody sent it to you, track it down, or you can go to casualfc.com for all of our podcast links. You can support the pod by sharing and liking and just engaging with anything we post. If you feed, the algorithm apparently gives you stuff back. Who really knows? Because it's all just magic and buttons and chords, and nobody knows what's going on.
Even the engineers don't know how the algorithm works. So.
Honestly, they've created a monster.
Got away from them.
Yeah, and we're all just trying our best to see if it'll work. But you can shop our merch at shop.casualfc.com. I don't know when we'll have new stuff out. We have ideas, but time is weird, and it's very easy to lose track of. The head nods that are happening between both Lesley and Mario of like, oh my gosh, it's so much. These great ideas, and then 3 weeks later, you're like, oh, my idea.
Yeah.
And then if you feel so inclined and you want to monetarily support the pod and keep this thing going and keep the lights on, you can do so by buying us a coffee. You can click on the link in our bios or go to buymeacoffee.com/casualfcpod and throw some cash our way. Obviously, it's like the last thing on the list that we would love you to do, but when it happens, we get really excited, and I usually cry. Yep. I didn't cry on this episode, for the record.
Okay.
It's a miracle. I cried this morning recording a different episode, but who cares? But I just love sports. And you can follow us on social media at CasualFCPod on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Threads. But we're really mostly on Instagram. So with that said, tell a friend about the pod. Tell a friend about Gal Pal Sports. It brings us good luck. It'll bring Lesley and Emily good luck. We'll take our luck and give it to Angel City and the national team. What they do with their luck is up to them. It'll probably go to the Red Stars, but who really knows?
Take some luck.
We're just trying to make a playoff berth at this point. We just got to win some games. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But with that said, enjoy the Olympics. We'll see you soon. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.